Well, welcome everyone. My name is Andrea McAvoy. I'm the Director of Client Services at UC Berkeley's Office of Intellectual Property and Industry Research Alliances. Thank you for attending today's How to Start an Industry Consortium program session. It is the first of 6 webinars offered by IPIRA this fall on intellectual property, industry-sponsored research, and SBIR, STTR grants. Kate, if you would uh, thank you. Deborah Summers, our Marketing Communications Director, is putting information and links in the chat to register for these events. Following this webinar, watch for an email from her with links to many of the resources being shared during today's session. That if you manage or create research data in your work, you may also be interested in the webinars hosted by the Berkeley Research Data Portal. Today, we are hearing from Eric Giegerich, who's the director, and Kate Lewis, associate director of IPIRA's Industry Alliances office. Also joining us is Andrew Besson, who's the director of Fund Policy, Fund Stewardship, and Compliance at UDAR. Feel free to type your questions in the chat as we go along, or unmute yourself during the Q&A. This session is being recorded and will be made available on IPIRA's YouTube channel. And if you have a question or topic that you'd like to remain confidential, please wait until we stop the recording to ask. A brief survey will appear when this session is over. We appreciate your completing it. Your doing so allows us to identify other webinar topics to offer. To get us started, I'm going to post a short poll. Your answering it will allow us to know who's here and also to understand your engagement with both our teams. All right. Well, thank you everyone for doing that. I'll let it go on for a couple more seconds. All right, cool. Well, I think we got everyone. Well, thank you for doing that. And Eric, the floor is yours.
Great. Thank you, Andrea. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for this really first of a kind webinar on how to start an industry consortium program. I want to say at the beginning that we're using the term industry consortium program in a way that we haven't used it before. It's a new term for us. And it's a new term to describe two program types that have been around for a long time: gift sponsorship programs and industry affiliate programs. What gave rise to the new term is that we decided we needed a place to talk about both types of programs together. And here in this webinar, it's being led by both Kate and myself from Industry Alliances Office and Andrew Beeson from UDAR Fund Stewardship and Compliance. So we've got representatives of both of these types, but we wanted to put up a web page rather, on the VCRO, Vice Chancellor Research Office web page that puts them both together in one place so that you can see them now together. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but this webinar is about how do you start one of these? How do you even decide which of these two types of programs matches what you're looking for or what you need? So we're going to talk about comparison and selection, and then give you some practical tips on how to start each kind. Next. Okay, so I want to click to, Kate, can you click on the link there to the VCR page? There we go. So we put this page together for you and for others on campus just to be able to see the big picture. There never has been a place where sort of contracts or industry membership contracts and gift-based sponsorship programs have been, were multi-party programs have been on the same page. So we put this together for you. There'll be a link to this at the end of the slides. We're going to share the slides. Kate, can you go down to the second to last part showing the two different types of groups? We're going to be talking about a lot of this content in today's webinar. Yeah, stop there, please. Thank you. So what we've done here, this is going to be, I think, a helpful resource to you. If you're thinking, what kind of program do I want to start? Here you've got a reference list. So you've got, if you're contemplating a gift sponsorship program, look down the list here and see, oh, okay, these are the ones that are set up as gift sponsorship programs. Am I more like that? Or am I more like an industry affiliate program? So it gives you an opportunity to figure out sort of where you fit more. And then also you can go and contact some of these programs and say, well, how actually are you set up? How does it work? And you can go talk to them as your peers. Okay, Kate, back to the slide deck. Okay, Andrew, that's you.
Great. And yeah, welcome everyone. And as we saw from the website there, right now, there are currently 22 active gift sponsorship programs or GSPs and 16 active industry affiliate programs. I think on my end, at least and on the development side, we have a number that come through for review and maybe sunset after a short period of time. We have some that have been around for multiple years or moved from iteration to iteration, keeping the same sponsors. And so this is sort of indicative of around campus, the level of programming that campus partners have.
Okay, to unmute myself, sorry. As you can see, both gift sponsorship programs and industry affiliate programs, IAPs, they have many similarities. They both support the university's mission of funding research. They both provide training opportunities for our students, and they also both provide a pathway for industry feedback for Berkeley's research. You'll also see some differences. Gift-based programs, they can't give anything in return for that gift. We call that quid pro quo, while contract-based programs can. And so you can see the last two bullets, we can give benefits of value like non-exclusive rights to intellectual property, early access to research results, participation in an industry advisory board. We can also offer different tiers of membership that can cost different, that have different price points. I'll turn it back.
Great. So I'm gonna go through our gift sponsorship programs presentation first. And as we noted, we'll have a Q&A session at the end as well for additional questions. But if you have any questions, feel free to put them in chat. I'm Andrew from University Development and Alumni Relations. It's called UDAR. Within the Advancement Operations Division is our Fund Stewardship and Compliance team. In the chat with me today and available to help answer questions as I go through the presentation is Fund Stewardship and Compliance's Executive Director, Ali DeGrow, and our Assistant Director for Policy, and the individual who leads our gift sponsorship program, Doug Tatz. GSPs operate in accordance with the principles of respect for faculty and student freedom to pursue specific research topics and methodology of their choice. They also conform with UC Berkeley's primary mission of teaching and research while enriching the educational experience. The Chancellor is delegated to the Vice Chancellor for UDAR the authority to accept gifts for use by campus. Under this delegation, UDAR administers the gift acceptance policy and is given authority to determine which transactions qualify under gift revenue and to provide oversight for all gift contracts, including those under our gift sponsorship program. I'm going to give an overview of the gift sponsorship program, including some factors that can help determine if a GSP is right for you. And then I'll provide some details on the process for starting one and what to think about when onboarding new funders to your programs. So let's get started. Next slide, Kate. Oh yes, perfect. Sorry, to the basics. Yes, thank you. You got it. Thank you. Perfect. Okay, so GSP offers gift-compatible stewardship and engagement opportunities to incentivize annual philanthropic contributions from corporate funders to fund a clearly defined area of research, a lab, or a non-research program. GSPs are many-to-many arrangements through which multiple donors, 3 or more, support a program that benefits multiple faculty. So this is really thinking about groups of faculty who are doing like research through a lab, through a program, through other affiliations here on campus. And as Kate mentioned earlier, GSPs do not convey benefits of value to sponsors. For example, intellectual property, early access to research results, or exclusivity. Next slide. So how it started. UDAR started categorizing gift sponsorships more definitively in January of 2021 in an effort to further separate sponsored awards and other non-gift vehicles from truly tax-deductible philanthropic contributions, to increase transparency as to what corporate donors are getting in exchange for their gifts, and to improve the experience for corporate donors when working with multiple labs or center across campus by ensuring consistency and efficient processing. It is the fact that many or a handful of our corporate funders engage with multiple labs, especially our very large corporations that have different divisions that sort of align with engineering research in different disciplines. Earlier iterations of the gift sponsorship program required gift agreements for any gift sponsorship regardless of activity or amount, and initial agreements allowed for an unsustainable level of specificity as it related to the benefits, which we're going to get more into later. This led to misunderstandings on the part of donors about the limitation of GSPs, and so throughout time we have updated it. And next slide, we talk a little bit about how it's going. Currently, for new programs and when new sponsors sign up, we draft, negotiate, and sign a master sponsorship agreement, which governs the gifts the sponsor makes through the program. Sponsors do not need to sign new agreements so long as the program benefits are not substantially changed. Fund Stewardship Compliance is working on transitioning all existing programs to this new model. And separately, for those who may heard about thinking more about event sponsorships versus programs, while we're focusing on programs here today, we also review and provide standard documentation for event sponsorships, which differ from annual programs and as the sponsors convey the benefit over a specific and limited period of time, such as like a 1 to 3 day conference. For questions about event sponsorships, you can please contact us and we'll have the contact information to follow. Most recently, we have standardized the way we write program benefits, which are now worded for clarity and are categorized into the following 3 categories: networking, industry engagement, and recognition. In order to qualify for sort of like no agreement renewals, invoicing renewals, GSPs must be submitted annually for review to our team, and we confirm with you the program benefits and additional relevant details. Okay, next slide. So, determining if a GSP is right for you. A GSP could be right for you if you run a lab or center with at least one faculty member and or more than one other faculty member and can attract at least 3 funders. Again, this is a many-to-many relationship. It could be right if you're willing to create and sustain or already have built the administrative structure to coordinate with funders annually, including operations related to payment and vendoring and engagement opportunities and stewardship. It takes time and effort to schedule activities that provide appropriate engagement and stewardship along the lines of that networking, recruitment, and sort of amalgamating published research. And so you have to balance sort of what the calculation is with receiving funding and the effort that you're going to have to output. A GSP could be right for you if funders are interested in providing general support for your lab or center and have no expectation that their funding will be used for specific research projects. Our GSP gift revenue goes to a unique gift fund that broadly supports the program's operations and objectives, and it's ineligible for restricted gifts, thinking of like PI specific research or supporting specific graduate students. A GSP also could be right for you if when funders do not expect to receive tangible benefits, as we've said before, like privileged access to research results, the opportunities to advertise, and opportunities to direct or influence the expenditure of funds. We're really looking for, these programs are really centered around funders who are satisfied with the by comparison to industry affiliate programs, sort of the limitations on the intellectual property and information sharing side. Not all funders are interested in this, and so choosing the right office based on your funder pool and the research you're doing is really paramount to getting off to the right start. Okay. Next slide, please. So let's talk more about the benefits that we convey in gift sponsorships. A benefit is a specific term that refers to things a funder gets in exchange for a payment. GSP benefits must be gift compatible. That is, they must not convey tangible value to the sponsor. We help you ensure that all benefits deployed with a GSP are gift compatible. The best benefit is something that you already do and that is scalable. For example, if you have a quarterly research digest where you amalgamate the latest published research, by your group, or you elevate the funder experience by delivering it to their inbox specifically with some notes about what they might find most interesting. It's not about proprietary information or information that they could not go and find, but it can be very difficult to find the latest research, and having it sent to you is something that can be really valuable depending on the funder. Benefits fall into the following 3 categories: recognition, which elevates a donor's brand, for example, by displaying a donor's logo on your program website or on a newsletter. Donors get to network with students and researchers and faculty. Networking opportunities must exclude sharing confidential or proprietary information, but typically leads to sort of like recruiting events and things like that would be one that is pretty important. And donors can provide valuable industry perspective, including by serving on a board or a committee in a strictly advisory capacity. One thing we know is valuable to industry is the ability to inform future academic areas of inquiry through sharing of real world problems. And we know that that's of importance to the academic side as well. Note that, again, on the event side, that there are some certain events that offer recognition only and do not require an agreement, but all of the rest of the programs that we're talking about here require agreements, at least at the start. Next slide, please. This is just a quick benefits example. This is pulled straight from an agreement here on campus that has the recognition, networking, and industry engagement. You can think about the recognition through a newsletter, and as a sponsor of workshops that might take place under the activities, so forth. Next slide. Okay, so let's talk about the process for submitting a new gift sponsorship program and onboarding new funders. Intake and agreement request steps. Essentially, the first piece of this is to define your program and benefits and define the expected gift amount and whether or not you will have tiers for varying benefits. So you could think of sort of like the classic bronze, silver, and gold varying tiers. Depending on the size of your program and the pool of funders, it could be that having multiple options is best. I would say that most of our long-standing programs have one membership level and one amount. Again, it eases the ease of administration. I think helps in the longevity of the programs. We can connect with you on similar programs so that you can discover what may work best. And as Eric showed in that website where we have the programs listed side by side, that is a place where you can go and see where you might see people who you know or programs that you've heard of that you can reach out to and see what's been working well for them. Next, you would submit the new sponsorship program intake form. We have a form that's on our website and that we can provide in the resources after this that allows us to collect more information on your proposed program. We'll email you with feedback and we can have some back and forth about clarifying the benefit language, confirming the appropriate gift fund, and reviewing any other administrative questions. Then my team will provide the master sponsorship agreement template that you can share with potential sponsors. And then we request new agreements through a form that's very simplified, and I've got an image up on the next slide. And then, once we have those, we complete the request form and we start creating agreements and moving forward. Go to next slide. Here's just an image of the agreement request form. Once we get the pieces set up, it really does become pretty easy to request agreements through our office. This is a Smartsheet intake form that we have links on in a few external and internal websites. And you just fill out the information and then we return an agreement within a reasonable amount of time, less than a week typically. Okay, next slide. Okay, some things to think about when onboarding first-time sponsors. Navigating the fact that corporate donors are primarily motivated by outcomes and relationships, and secondarily, if at all, motivated by the tax deductibility of their contribution can be difficult. Many corporate donors do not understand the limitations of a gift, and it can be difficult to come to agreement terms that work for both parties. On our side, ensuring the gift nature of the agreement, and for the corporation, ensuring that it will pass internal approvals. Large corporations have the added complexity of being many layered and or having their own robust internal regulations or policies that can hamper their ability to make a gift. International entities and very large corporations also have extensive vendoring requirements that can complicate and delay receiving funding after an agreement has been completed. while this is important to be aware of, we do have years of experience now negotiating and explaining our policies and practices to potential sponsors, and we're happy to work with potential funders to onboard them to your program. It's just something to keep in mind depending on your area of academic inquiry and the pool of funders that you have. If it's a largely international group and you're thinking about a timeline to receiving funding and getting things working, it could be an additional several months, even for academic institutions overseas. And with that, I'm going to stop there and hand it over to the Industry Alliances office.
Great, thanks, Andrew. It's really helpful to actually have both Industry Alliances office and Fund Stewardship and Compliance presenting together, because you get a really good picture. And I did put in the link in the chat again, that link to the Industry Consortium programs page where you can see both programs side by side. But having now sort of an understanding of gift sponsorship programs, it makes a nice contrast. So what are industry affiliate programs? An industry affiliate program is a university research program. It's one that we create, not one that's brought to us. It's organized, hosted, and directed by Berkeley faculty and/or staff, like an executive director. It's focused on semi-specific area or set of areas of research of common interest to both private industry and faculty. And it's funded by industry membership fees. Small caveat, there are also programs that are funded, historically have been funded by, let's say, an NSF center grant, like an NSF IUCRC or NSF ERC, that then have a requirement for industry memberships. We don't do a lot of those anymore. Most of ours nowadays are standalone, solely supported by industry membership fees. An industry affiliate program is a multi-company research program. So this is not a bilateral type of program. Multiple companies coming together using the same agreement and contributing to the same area of research. Kate, you're up next.
And I'll just add one thing, which is it's not only industry that can be members of these programs. We have others where it could be governmental agencies, it could be nonprofit organizations, it could be universities or hospitals. We do have this model that we call industry affiliate programs, but it's not just limited to industry. So I'm going to mention that. So industry affiliate programs, they offer mutual benefits to both our industry partners and to UC Berkeley. The funds from these programs are pooled. That means that there's one master fund. It's not each individual project has a fund or each individual agreement. And that allows faculty to have flexibility to determine which projects they want their students to work on. And industry also gets access to those students that can be through poster sessions, collaborations, and more. We can also leverage these memberships to create funds or to create projects that are innovative, but also things that we may not be able to get other funding. So maybe we can't get a federal grant for that type of research or that particular project. We can leverage these funds in order to be able to still do those research projects. And companies can benefit in that all members get access to the results. So, typically with sponsored research, you would have one project, one defined scope of work, and then the company would get access to that one defined scope of work. In this model, there's a lot of different companies, but there's also that creates a lot more resources to have more projects, and members get benefits to all of those projects. And they also get early access to intellectual property, which enables us, the university, to get our research results and our technologies out for public benefit, which is really important and critical to our mission. Input from our members, our industry members. It also helps us to understand what's relevant in their fields. And so from the slide, you can see it's really valuable to both industry and to the university. And this slide could actually apply to gift-based or contract-based programs as well. So successful industry affiliate programs, they advance the mission of research education, research teaching, public service. Our industry members are partners that help us fund research projects. They give opportunities to our students. They provide feedback on the directions of our research. They provide input on what research projects we should pursue. They also help us get our technology transfer goals and get our research results out for public benefit. And that's really, really critical for us. And I just wanted to mention, like Andrew said, these are a many-to-many relationship. These aren't a one-to-one relationship. So really, these are programs where we can bring together resources and fund projects that are beneficial to all of our members.
Okay, so some key features of industry affiliate programs, and I want to right away highlight the first point there: multiple companies with a minimum of 3. And I'll just note that Jeremy put into the chat a question which Ali answered, so we might have a slightly different answer, but it's probably related. 3 companies because otherwise it's sponsored research. These are not customized programs for specially tailored to one company with exclusive deliverables and exclusive IP rights. These are programs where there are multiple companies participating and all of them get the same set of rights and including intellectual property rights. And there's also administrative reasons why we have a minimum of 3. I'll come to this later, but there's a lower overhead for these than for sponsored research, and part of that is the lessened administrative burden by templated agreements, and all companies get the same benefits. So I've probably already said some of my points here, but these programs have multiple PIs and multiple researchers, so it's not usually just a single PI and their lab. There can be PIs across multiple departments and even across different parts of the university. All members have the same contract and the same benefits. There can be different benefits separated by tiers. Not all of these have tiers, but there are no customized contracts. Also, all industry affiliate program members have the same access to all results, data, reports, and intellectual property. And that's really important to note. So even if a company wants to provide some additional funding and support a project that's more of interest to them than maybe some other members, still all other members get access to the total set of results, data, reports, and intellectual property. Next slide. So let's talk about some member benefits. What do companies expect to get? And this is in contrast to gift sponsorship benefits. Early access to research results and publications is a key. We've already talked about intellectual property. This is really one of the key differences, one of them. Companies get rights in any patentable inventions, copyrightable works, including software, data. Some of these programs have repositories for data and software and algorithms. So a company could get access to that and access to anything that's deposited into that repository. The opportunity to participate on an industry advisory board, that's key. That helps gain industry input into the program. Annual, biannual meetings, that's in common with gift sponsorship programs. And then access to students also in common. Next slide. Okay. So I mentioned earlier that there is a special overhead rate. This has been in effect since 2006. It's a special VCR, Vice Chancellor Research memo. The rate here is 20%, and I'll say on the next slide that it even can be more advantageous to you than that appears at first. But it's 20% rather than the standard overhead rate for sponsored research because, as I said already, all members sign the same agreement. There's no negotiation, so that reduces the overhead burden on the university and particularly on our office, Industry Alliance's office. When there's no negotiation and all companies sign the same agreement, these go through a lot more easily. There are still things that we have to do administratively. All members have the same benefits, as I said. All members get the same IP rights. There are no unique scopes of work, deliverables, and IP. Anything that, if there is some additional possible scope of work, every company member gets access to it. Next slide. Is this me? Okay. So overhead breakdown. This is right out of the Vice Chancellor Research Policy, and you can find this on our website. We have a link to it at the very last slide, but this is out of the 2006 policy and again on our website. So there's a breakdown. You can see the breakdown here. The key, I don't want to go through all of it, but the key point is the last bullet, which is 10.5% gets returned to the program and the supporting units. So a lot of times people say, I don't want to pay overhead. Well, first of all, consider that it's lower than standard sponsored research. Secondly, consider how much can come back to your program. Next slide.
Oops. So this next few slides will be how to start your industry affiliate program. This is for contract-based. We have a bunch of links for you to be able to peruse at your own leisure. And so I'm not going to go through and look at all these links, but basically we have a ton of information on our website and we're always adding to it. We are in the process of creating more resources to help get these started and to help to support the early days of these industry affiliate programs. We recently developed an industry affiliate proposal template that really gives us more information about what you're doing, what you're trying to do, what the member benefits are, what companies you've identified, if any, and all of that. And we'll go through that proposal template. So basically, the process to start would be to look at that template. It's a Google Doc. You can make a copy of it, you can download it, and go through the different boxes and complete basically what you're trying to do, who's interested, what is it that you're offering. And then you're going to return the template to IAO, and this is our general email box, iao@berkeley.edu. Once we've received that, we're going to review it, and then we're going to set up some time to meet, and we'll go through it, and that's going to be the start of the process. A difference between industry affiliate programs and gift sponsorships is that our agreements are all custom, but we do have templates that we're starting from depending on what you need. So your program might be anticipating developing new algorithms or new software, or you might even be anticipating developing patentable inventions. And so we'll go through and customize the agreement based on what you're offering, based on if you want to have different tiers, a higher level of payment for more benefits, a lower level entry level payment for fewer benefits. And then we'll kind of go from there. That's an iterative process that can take some time. But then once we're ready, then we'll have the finalized template, and then you can start sending it out to your potential sponsors. Oops, I missed a slide. Sorry. Okay, so we're next going to go into our proposal template demo. Can everybody see this? Yeah, okay, good. So basically, this gives a little bit more information about what the industry affiliate program is. These are all things that we went through today. We're really looking for at least 3 companies to join as members. That doesn't mean at the time that you're filling this out, you've identified 3 companies. We can help you with that. But it means that you can think of at least 3 companies that would be interested in the field of research that you're doing. We also have links to Andrew's group in case you're interested in a gift-based affiliate program. So basically, we just ask you to fill this out. So this is kind of a table of contents in the beginning. So if you have a name, a lot of these have cute, catchy acronyms. We can also help you with that, although I'm going to say that I'm not as creative. And most of the Berkeley things are done. We've got Bear already. We've got others. So, but anyway, so if you have a name in mind, we can talk about that too. We do want to have a PI lead, and if there's any affiliated PIs, like we said, it's usually a multiple to multiple relationship. So there's often multiple PIs that are going to be working within the center. The next thing you'll do is kind of summarize what the background is. What are the research areas that you're interested in tackling? What's the opportunity? Why do you want to build an industry affiliate program? What kinds of benefits are you going to offer to industry members? Why do they want to join? Oops, I see a typo. We'll fix that. And it's why develop this? Why now? And we know a lot of why now is that we have some uncertainty with certain types of funding. So we're definitely understanding that as well. And then what are your expected research outcomes? So we know that in the beginning of these, they do take some time to ramp up. The first year, you may have one project that gets funded, you may have more. But what are you anticipating longer term? Do you anticipate software, patents? Are you developing big data sets that your companies would be interested in? Really, what are they getting in return? And then if you have any ideas of a proposed structure, so we have benefits, we have resources that have some sample benefits that are listed. In our template, we have sample benefits. You know, if your field of research would benefit from an industry advisory board that can help vote on projects, or if your membership would want a non-exclusive copyright license to whatever software you're developing. So it's just thinking about you know, what you kind of what you anticipate for benefits and what you think about the leadership structure. So will you have one director? Will you have co-directors? Um, will you have multiple projects that are funded? How many meetings do you want to have per year? Those types of things. And then if you have any proposed industry members, list them. If you have any industry members that have committed already, that's amazing. List those as well. And then we'll also ask for the administering department. So that might be your BRS research administrator and then their email address. We have some checkboxes down below of different options. So are you interested in an advisory board? The option to fund additional research projects within the center where all members still get the same benefits and still get the same access. Would you be willing to host visitors from industry? Would you be willing to give your members a pre-publication review and get feedback on your publications? Inviting them to in-person meetings, having even regular check-ins with your membership at scientific meetings. Intellectual property rights, visitors. And so really you just go through this, check the boxes, and then add anything else that you want. Once this is ready, you'll email it over to us. We'll have a look, and then we can get started on the development of the agreement itself. I'm going to come back to the slideshow. And then once you're up and running, so this is just kind of what I said before. So we'll build the industry affiliate program template for you. It's an iterative process. We'll work with you. This is often a multiple party process. So, you know, it might be a lot of different people are giving input and we might have multiple meetings about it. We'll also work with early adopters or early companies that are interested. One of the benefits that they have is helping to shape the agreement as well. So if you have a company or two that's interested, we can even meet with them and say, okay, what are you really interested in within the center? We will always remain on hand to answer questions once the template is finalized. These will be requested once you have members that are interested. The regular way for sponsored research. So you'll use Phoebe. You'll work with your research administrator to get the agreement into Phoebe. And once the company is ready to sign, our group will be the contracts group. So we'll sign that for you. We'll get it set up in Phoebe. And then we have options for invoicing, accounts receivable. Part of the controller's office can invoice. We also have some centers that decide to invoice on their own, so we can talk through those options as well. And then once you start getting the membership funds in, they will be deposited into a master fund, and you'll be able to spend from there. And then here's where we are. Once you get started, once you have your industry affiliate program established, we have a new peer group that we started this year of industry affiliate program and gift sponsorship program executive directors and staff. And we get together periodically. I think our goal is to get together quarterly to share information, best practices, to talk about the different research and the different structures that we have with each of these different programs. And it's a really great group to be part of. And if you're on the call and you have an industry affiliate program and you're not part of this, you can also email us and we'll get you on the list.
Okay, so I just want to remind the research folks on the call that for an industry affiliate program is a research program. And that means that if you're participating one either as the PI or a researcher who's receiving funds, do remember when you are required to report current and pending support for federal contracts and grants, do remember to list your participation in whatever industry affiliate program you're involved in or the one you're starting. We have information on our IPIRA webpage on this, so I won't go into it. We can go to the next slide.
Great. Thank you, Eric and Kate, for that. Here's a slide. Then again, we're going to be sharing the slides out to the relevant parties, but here's links to resources for our different programs. And before we start the discussion Q&A, I think it was great that Eric and Kate touched on the overhead rate for their programs. And I realized I did not end my slides. So I just wanted to note that the vast majority of our gift sponsorship programs are research related. And therefore the campus policy is the research administrative fee, which is 13%. Some smaller programs that may be non-research related to sort of student support or student recruiting may qualify for the lower rate by policy. And we just work through that when we're, designing the program and setting up the fund in those pieces. So we're happy to discuss that further when necessary. I think, Kate, it's time for the Q&A.